What's up? What's up?
Young and proper.
What's happening, guys?
What's happening? We've
Chillin'-
moved to a different day of the
Klingon.
week. What's everybody doing on a Thursday evening?
Chatting with you.
I
I'm still
am
trying to.
consuming H2O.
I'm
I'm
just
still
gonna
trying to
open a
figure
bottle.
how to share the live stream.
You're still
but
trying to
I-
figure that out, bro?
Guys, do you want us to start with the stream or do you want us to teach Skip how to do a watch party today?
No. Let's
Leave
just
your comments.
start. Let's just start it. So I just share it like how we share it.
नमस्कार देवी और सज्जनों, आज आप सबका स्वागत है एक नए व्हाट डू यू कॉल एपिसोड इन हिंदी एक और नए
वही
अध्याय
वही
में।
कार्यक्रम अलग समय और अलग दिन पर
वही कार्यक्रम, जी हाँ, वही मदिरा नई बोतल में। Presenting the Beyond the Music talk show on Thursday. It's new day, and with the new day, new beginnings happen. Jargon. So
Yeah.
let's have our guest being introduced by
skip.
Skip!
All right, so our guy has been DJing for I don't know how many years. It's like I've known him for a really long time as a DJ. I've met him recently, but he's a name that is not new. Everybody knows him as a guy who is experimenting a lot. I feel that every time you hear him, it's something new, and I love
Yeah.
his taste for music. It's very it's there
Eclectic.
and it's So it's
Yeah.
I would call him as a selector. He's like one of my favorite guys because every time when you hear him, it's something new. And Hyderabad ki shaan और इंडिया की भी Mr. Murthovic. Let's get it.
Welcome to the show, bro.
Hi,
What's up?
good evening, guys. That's a lot of kind words. Thank you, Skip. Good to see you guys. Long
Good to
See
time.
see
you,
bro.
bro.
good to see you.
What's
Thanks
happening?
for having me on the show. I'm all prepped and ready.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just say hi to everybody who's online. Preetham, Rohit, Ajit. Hello, welcome to the show. Rohit, we've moved it to Thursdays just for a change, man. And I think Nishank was complaining that his Sunday was going to.
अरे Saturday भी bro. By the
And
time-
also, like gigs will be happening, so Thursdays are good days for people generally.
gigs are happening.
So
in
Murthy,
few
bro,
cities.
I've known you for like donkey's years. You know, I think the first time we actually like met was probably Rain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where?
And yeah, at Rain. In
Where is rain? Please, like for people who don't know, please.
Like the mixer rain, the raining rain, or
No, the club rain.
Club? Okay.
What year was this, bro?
Oh man, it put me in spot. Well, I don't remember actually. I was
10?
10 years back.
Yeah.
10 years back, yeah. For sure.
Ah,
10 years.
Yeah.
Nice.
Hey Avinash.
Avinash. And that's
So-
GK San talking as Pioneer DJ India.
GK-san, how are you?
Oh,
So Murthy,
very
just
good.
can you tell us about what your career started off like? When did you start?
How was the journey like?
What was the kind of gear that you were using back then? You know.
And I want to know what are you using now because you're using a ton of gear. I know that.
Correct. But first past, then we talk about
Yeah.
present and future.
Okay, cool. Well, I think I started around 97, 98. It was never a
Okay.
thing that I wanted to do. It was always music because I grew up in a sort of army family, so there was always travels and every 3 years in a new city, making new friends, listening to new music. Sometimes getting this for choice of music, sometimes getting a praise for your choice of music. So I always was involved in like college socials and these kind of things where there was a bit of revelry and music and sort of get-togethers involved. Back then, there was just at that micro level, right? So that first got me to collect music, and primarily it was my parents' music and also some of the music I liked to listen, and also my sisters, my friends, and I always absorbed. Like music was always like you get influenced by your friends, right? You trust a friend, It all
Yeah.
started like for me
Correct.
in college, and I just collected tapes, and I was always like putting together things in time, like putting them in queue and just like releasing them on the beat and just like sort of doing parties like that. But never was like a thing. But it's so much fun when stuff like you're playing some jams that you really love at home or whatever, and then you go out and play for like a ton of people, and then they all are like, "Hey, what is this?" And many of them know it, some of them don't know, and then you obviously as a collector you always like to be, and the old school people always like to be like
Yeah, the connection has to be there.
they also have like this DJ culture influence. So I always wanted to like sort of have like a lot of music to collect and just play out. Never really thought that I would go into it professionally till the late 90s when I met my friends who were already DJs at a bar, and they were obviously very popular and very busy as well, and they got me to like do this side gig with them at a bar where they were. It was a really posh bar by the airport and owned by a really cool couple, and they were very supportive. And I just entered there and started playing just like this, listening, typical rock pub scene, which I think kept a lot of music scene stagnant for me. I mean, it was great as pop culture, but a lot of people weren't at that point in time. My peers and many people weren't really like up for experimenting, except for few. I was fortunate to find the right people. They gave me the freedom, so I was experimenting with music. I wasn't just playing the Tulls and the Zeppelins, but I was also like I was growing up to other things, right? The NIN, the Limp Bizkits, or your Slipknots or Korn or RHCP. A lot of things were happening, and as somebody who was interested in music, I was always gathering a lot of music and going to the bar. There was a manual CD player, and there was a Gemini which had like sort of I think inverted pitch discos.
Yeah.
Yeah, sort of that kind of thing, which is difficult to unlearn when there was the real CDJ hundreds that came in.
Yeah.
And, so I mean, I wasn't initially mixing. I was just very smartly cutting them, and it worked for me. So for a very long time, I was just busy in just finding that this happiness of finding the one, right? If you're
Yeah.
the kind of musician, the finding the one, and So that was my first thing, and there was always this crossfader sort of mixing music, like sort of culture back then, and I was very impressed by it. And I was doing that for a very long time. And then my friends were like, "Why didn't you like make sets?" And I was also listening to these other DJs like Ajay, Yogi, who were really like pushing the boundaries because people who just wanted their regular stuff. Back then, popular hits were not like today. They were like even Hotel California. I'm nothing against that, but like you're playing like 100 times in a week, so you're like totally like you obviously want to do. And as a youngster, I always wanted to like feel that yeah, I should push music, which often got me in trouble, and I lost a lot of opportunities initially. But I'm glad I made that choice. But yeah, I often lost a lot of opportunities because I wasn't very popular for people to book.
But you are true to yourself. That's the most important thing.
I don't even know what I was doing, honestly speaking. But yeah, I was just. I mean, even today, primary thing is you gotta find consonance with what you are doing first, and then try to like sort of fit in the sort of stream of like work you come from. And I mean, I don't try really work very hard to try to impress my peers or just impress some people. I like to just do my own thing, and that's always helped me. I like to obviously absorb from a lot of people. I've learned a lot from my friends and peers, like from anybody who's had some experience in the field I'm interested in is great. I hung out with Tuhin in Kathmandu airport, and he told me about a lovely piece of software, and I'm like, what was I doing all these days? I should have like had this before I put out a bunch of music, like the Antariksha album or all those things. But that's how it is. Like there was always this constant need to learn and constant interest to collect. I never found any career. I was environmental sciences student. I went on to do a PhD. I topped my university. I secured gold, and I I was to go find a job in R&D like a South Indian boy, or join the Indian Army or the Air Force. I did a NCC C certificate also. I went for an SSB. I couldn't clear it because I went out partying in bunkers in Bangalore on the night before, and I got called on by the other students that I did that. So yeah, initially it was just haphazard, and things were just like just going the way they just happened, and they were like seldom opportunities, but there were locally communities. There was always these friends and people who knew music or people who were interested in music would come out to the bar you were playing, come hang out with your friends and girlfriend for a date or for a beer. So there was this nice. I mean, I can't say young people now; they're all like my age, but then they were all like,
They're still young, bro. What the hell? Everybody's still young.
I feel very young, honestly speaking. Especially after sitting at home for all these months, I feel like, oh man, I think this time I'm not calculating in my age. Come on, you have to give me a discard. So yeah,
I'm amazed to see him talk so much, man. Every time I met him, he's so quiet and so like, and I'm like, this is like completely different side of him. Like, I thought he's so shy and he never spoke. And this is the first time, like 9 months of lockdown, he's just dying to talk to somebody, you know.
I have immense love and respect for all of you individuals. I haven't hung out so much with Nishank, but I have hung out with everybody else individually, and I love what you guys do. And come on, it's always about the comfort vibe, and I'm happy to have a chat. Usually,
I remember our whole trip to Nepal was like so much fun. Like we were talking from the time we met at the Delhi airport till like we came back.
Very cute chat, because I was like thinking about what to expect.
This was what? Nepal was what, bro? Almost 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
After Palm you went, no?
Yeah.
I remember.
So-
TV is back.
When did the electronic music journey start, bro? Like, how did the whole electronic music came into your life, and when did that got into like the whole? When you got serious about electronic music?
Electronic music was always something, but I couldn't define this either. I was
When did you switch from
4/4.
great
When are you
stuff to
like
good
DJing?
stuff?
No, when did you start playing like the 4/4 music, like
The
house
4/4
music,
music,
sort of? Yeah.
Because my friends were like these cool DJs, right? They were already like pushing the music, but they were also like doing what they were to do in the clubs. And I was just the side guy, and I could just fucking come and do whatever I wanted to and take the risk. And I already had a science like thing also. And I mean, thanks to them, that opportunity and the sort of spark to like look for music on Napster, nick off other peers, because club DJing started soon after that. And it became a thing for me to have like good stuff every weekend, because we were playing,
Yeah.
we started playing clubs, proper clubs.
Right.
They
Yeah,
weren't
correct.
like to eat chicken tikka or whatever. This was just club art. The days were like beer, regular, sometimes cool people, sometimes odd guys, sometimes weird people. Somebody's trying to like pick up a fight with your friend, or even if your girlfriend is visiting you, waiting on her. All those kind of things used to happen initially, because even people didn't know how they were like. I mean, there were a lot of nice people as well, but there were weird people coming to the clubs as well. Now
There
it's
was a
nice.
time where Hyderabad's nightlife was like really like at the top, I think, and then there was a dip that came, and then now I think it's back again. But someone told me that there was a time where people were like partying really hard in Hyderabad. When was this? Like
2009.
Man, I think they are partying very hard right now. And, I don't know what hard usually is, itemized as, but I think what happened is over the years, there was like different sort of set of batches of people, right? Some people got married, moved on,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
didn't come out as much as, not like us, we go out clubbing like it's just, we just need to sometimes.
It's a job, yeah, it's like a job.
Go out and listen to him. Unless you're like really occupied in the studio trying to do some client job, you are definitely like up for going out. So now that frequency has changed a lot. Back in the day, going to pub, even people didn't really have those kind of pocket monies. I mean, not everybody, but now students, professionals, businessmen, all people alike, whoever has interest in the music, depending on their pocket's capacity, can go to different kinds of places and be entertained, hang out with their friends. And it's just not like it's a thin line between bars, restaurants, pubs. it's just changed quite a bit, like from where it was earlier. Club,
Yeah.
wall, loudspeaker. यहाँ मतलब बात नहीं कर सकते. Outside, maybe you talk. There'll be like typical dhaba food in the clubs. I mean, I grew up in clubs where there would be like tandoori and whatever nice food. Dosa, there's this kind of food in the morning. But now there are clubs which are like different kind of food and everything. So I've definitely seen a full like sort of
Full
change.
circle. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's just good. It's really better than what it used to be. Definitely, the music was much more preamble than everything else that existed then. Now, obviously, there are like social facets. Who goes where? What friends? What do you think? Cool. Everybody has opinion because internet, some sort of interest, and people do follow music. So, and sometimes they end up challenging people professionally. I'm not saying don't have a dialogue, but just don't go to a professional and start like preaching and stuff. And luckily, I mean, it doesn't happen to me. Thanks. But a lot of cool DJs as well, and I think it's such a weird thing to do. And that culture of music has definitely like sort of. I mean, there are so many DJs and so many people that are contributing now. It was just and also initially it was like sell out. Like I said, out of 10 clubs, one club would book me because I had all my African friends who used to come for my hip hop, R&B, and reggae night, and some
And you were doing vinyls? Because I know a friend of mine who's actually a student. He told me that you've got a ton of vinyls at your place.
And actually, I started collecting vinyl again. I mean, I sold a lot of vinyl. I got vinyl in the early like 2000. I got totally inspired by seeing a lot of vinyl DJs and the kind
So
of.
who were these DJs that you got inspired by? Like international acts or Indian DJs?
International as well, but obviously, like immediate was like people like Ivan. I was seeing him every weekend. Business because he had the club music. I mean, it was funky, filtered, disco, whatever. Ibiza, London, he used to cover it, and on vinyl. And even if it was hip hop or whatever, it was always on vinyl. And he knew his music. He knows his R&B. He knows his hip hop. I knew. I always liked what he did, and whatever style of music he played, he was spot on as a great DJ. And then I saw a lot of other DJs. I ended up participating in a few awards. I faltered myself the first time. Then the next year, I sort of won the local times thing. And then it's a journey, right? When you get in, initially it's like you don't know what you want to do. Once you get start figuring out, then you want to like really plan out what exactly is your thing. I'm still actually figuring out.
Correct.
Yeah. So yeah, these guys.
And how did the studio come in play? Because you're making a lot of music also. So like when did the studio thing come in? Like when did you get like a full-fledged studio?
Studio, man. Actually, again, that's another thing. I had a huge breakup. No, I was always interested in music, but I was a science student, and at my home there was like devotional Carnatic music and film music and that kind of stuff always happening. But music wasn't a career option never, and I thought people need to be really very talented and blessed to have these skills to just do it. I was very young and foolish. Till the longest, and by the time that you really want to pursue a certain hobby, you're already in like college, you have friends, you're influencer. When I was in Far East, I was studying in Assam, Arunachal, and also in Dimapur. So then I was into a lot of metal stuff, and it was really not cool to be listening to like anything, even Bon Jovi. What is Bon Jovi? I had Bon Jovi at home, and I was loving it. I had friends, other girls who were my classmates. They were doing all kinds of music. Pet Shop Boys, I still love it. It still turns me on. I love it. But that's the stuff I grew up to. And even then I was wondering, what is this Depeche Mode using, dude? Sounds gonky as hell. And I have a cousin in the Navy who's a doctor, and we used to hang out during his breaks, and he was in the med school. And he would tell me, and whenever I entered the room, we would play Depeche Mode in like low lights and sort of vibe thing. And he would tell me, I would come into the room and I'd turn the light on, and he would tell me, you kill the vibe in Hindi. That's what he used to say. And I used to say, what? I was to think,
this is college times, basically.
He already saw the light, and he introduced me to a lot of things in that sort of world. Like Mike Oldfield, Tubular Bells, and that kind of Philip Glass.
Wow.
That kind of thing, which was a different world. I never experienced myself because I never studied, concertos, style classical music. I mean, I did study later now, but Then I didn't, so it was never like the persistence for me, immediate persistence. So it was always like rubbing off things. And DJs, come
Hmm.
on, other DJs when they come to your city to play, like Tuhin has rocked so many clubs in Hyderabad from very very long time. Ivan is that way coming for so many years, and I have like opened, played before him like tons of time in all kinds of nights, and I've seen his professionalism, the kind of work that he has put in his like sort of world, and he gives so much of 100%. I've actually also like picked up a few things from him for sure, and I don't hesitate, and the kind of
I rem-
kindness, the the
Twin is just a bad influence, bro. Only thing you can pick up from him is how to drink more alcohol without getting wasted.
he'll come with his tequilas everywhere. Bro, I
Yeah.
remember. I remember you opened for Tiesto also. I think when Tiesto came for the first time in India, you were the when he came to
Where?
Hyderabad, you
HNCC.
opened for him. No, when he came to Hyderabad, and
yeah,
he was you opened for him or something like that, right?
yep, yep.
How was
And
that?
that was good, man. It's an opening act. They give you rest, the number one, and yes, told. Come on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
they gave me 30% pay, and like there was some bunch of blokes sitting and writing. I mean, saying that you should have played this. You should have. Come on, and that was my first time like facing like people and like this forums and all of this, and then I think I did speak to Turino and Nikhil. I did speak to some people, and I was like, dude. And also I think Baburo, he was also like the active dude. And, like, take it easy, dude. Now I mean, for me, it was the first time I was like totally touched because I was just one of the like in initial years of Baba years, you're in your zone, you want to just like be nice to everybody and just like follow what you want because you know that you have a long way to go. So those were my.
I think you're nice to everybody now also, man. Like you're
I mean,
nice to everyone.
I think what you saw is what you reap because I want to be treated a certain way, and I definitely like invest some time in like giving a sort of cue to anybody in school. A friend definitely knows me who I am, but like people who are like new, you definitely need to like put your like stuff forward. That's how it like grows from there, right? But yeah, back then it was yeah different. People were also like in clubs, and people used to come to sorry.
Nishank is asking a question.
No, I'm not asking the question, but I'm asking you to go back to the question which Skip asked. What is the gear that you're using now? Because you never answered
I
that.
thought we're gonna come to that later.
Man,
Oh.
I'm actually. I wish I could show you. I'm actually building myself a little Eurorack rig, which has been in making for 5+ years. Actually, I think I planned this 5 years back, and I told a bunch of my friends. My other friends made it, but I finally like jumped into it, and like also got my all my mooks together. And I've been actually working with a bunch of game and that sort of world. I just embarked upon it 8 years back, thinking I would dance music, this, that, which definitely is my thing for sure. I want to be able to like post quarantine. I have written obviously a lot of music, which is depending on the day, what I've had, how it is, field recording, whatever. I've done a bunch of things, and also a lot of things I've kept centric towards the work that like I am doing right now. So like a lot of sound design. I've borrowed a piece of equipment from a friend, given him a piece of equipment. I mean, I have some friends I'm like really tight with, and Sidhu, another friend, I borrowed his Moog and I gave him my Electron, just like. So I'm right now just sound designing, put a little rig, which is my DIY, and also like I'm making some modular cases.
So are you sampling or you're playing them live? Like when you talk about a live set, are you using sampling or you're making patches on the fly?
I mean, there are certain go-to places, right? Like your drums and basic things.
Yeah,
Right.
they are
Yeah,
samples.
yeah. They are no, they can be like I use DFAM for drums lately.
Oh yeah. Okay. Cool.
I also use a kick tube for
Ah,
drums. I have a big
yeah.
box kind of module in a Eurorack format where it's new, so I'm also like always trying to. But I also have a 808, so I make drums from there. All my 808 booms and those kind of things come from there.
Yeah.
I've got a bunch of things. I'm very like I think I'm always like trying to do different things. And if I don't feel inspired here, then I go here or there. But then there's always like a central. I have a clock, so everything is pretty connected. And outside also have an auto track, another mixer, and a couple of like synths there as well, and a guitar pedal to be able to work outside, because sitting on the same seat in the same room sometimes is too much. So sometimes I work outside with a Bose speaker, and the Bose speaker has a like a decent vibe, so I can
Output, yeah.
yeah. And then I sort of just try to machine jam, and I like the whole machine jam vibe, and made a lot of music on the electron machines, how like usually people make patterns and then
Yeah.
play. So I have one of the other things to jam on your leads and your chord progressions and those kind of things. It's just like you have to learn everything song by song and keep them together. I mean, I have done this for Antariksh and other things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I wanted to talk about the Antariksh Sanchar thingy, but we'll talk about it later. I want to know what's your DJ setup is like, because I've seen a few of your live shows, recent ones. Were you using Ableton on that, or you were doing like a DVS, or what was the scene there?
So here it is. I'm like I said, I'm I'm sometimes playing.
You're kind of bouncing.
Yeah, I'm kind of bouncing always. Depends on the kind of gig. Other is gig mein, I know that the it is a walk core stroke oro gig. So I know that there is bit of house techno, but then there is a late night where
Yeah.
can be playing dub
You can be
or
doing anything. You can do anything
whatever.
basically.
So
Yeah.
then I make a Ableton sort of set where there is already some pre-built amount of like database how Ableton DJing works, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Some things you remove, bring some, and then you get here and there. I mean, it gives, but it only has. I have to carry a controller. I also
Yeah.
DJ on Tractor as well, and I also DJ on Pioneer.
USB,
I have
yeah.
the ones. It's amazing. I actually bought myself a RMX 1000 of somebody was use and abuse. I'm loving it. I have to DJ it with it, but I'm just like using it with my organal. I have a small little pocket. Sort of
Yeah, I remember you carried that to Kathmandu as
yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
sometimes you're doing digital. Okay, fine, it's cool, but what else do you do? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm too old to be like doing gesturing like things, and also as long as music scene is concerned, I mean, it's cool to have something to keep yourself also occupied, and also if you want to create, like, because not always when you go there are always people for you. I mean,
Yes.
luckily the last few years, thanks to the good looking out by the my agent Rajat or like my agency, it's nice, but otherwise it's difficult, right? You don't know what to expect, and it's a booking, and most of the times you'll take it. Now I'm
Yeah.
able to that one thing that I'm able to say, dude, want to do like preferential stuff. But longest of my life, I've always taken stuff with thank you. I will come and do it. I will customize. I will read your nights. I'll go see what you have done, who you have featured, what your last night was like, and take an opinion from Mash if he's played there, or Tuhin if he's played there. And yeah, definitely I would call a friend and ask. But over the years, now that I've been traveling quite a bit, I sort of have a vibe, and I only get booked at places where this sort of thing works, where just good music.
You've
and
built a
just-
reputation for a style of music basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. I mean, there's so much nice music. How can you just confine yourself?
Yeah.
And sometimes the purists
Correct.
get me and cocktail, whatever. Fuck that. I am enjoying. I'm not playing for them. I'm playing for the audience. And as long as you keep your dance floor alive, as long as you're engaging your audience, and as long as you're just being true to what you like, I think it's cool. No, and not
Yeah.
everybody has to like what you do, right? It's different, you know.
Right.
You can't like go to a club and play Sigur Rós because you like it. You can play it at home. Love it, but that sort of sensibility has arrived after many years. Honestly, first 10 years I was stupid. I mean, I just did the right thing of pursuing music, but I was just like, I know
Going with the flow.
going with the flow. Just आज हो गया अगला महीना, चलो शॉपिंग कर लिए, खरीद लिए, चल खरीद ली, घूम लिए, ट्रैवल कर लिया, टूरिज्म कर लिया, कुछ नहीं वैसा कि अभी मतलब थोड़ा सा अलग है भाई.
So, bro, tell me about the. Okay.
Good question.
Have you, Murthy, just curious, have you tried the squid from
Yeah.
Pioneer?
You would love it, man. The squid and the SP16 combo. I think it
And I have only
fits
seen
your
videos.
thing.
Like, if you guys know gas, I have gas, and I am into gear porn, and I always follow everything that you guys put out or any good tech company that I follow. I follow a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff on internet every day. For the last 20 years, there's something that I've done very religiously is
Read.
keeping myself updated dude, I come from a small city. I mean, it's not a small city, but I come from a different kind of beginnings and different kind of background. I was a science lab dude, and all of a sudden I come like midway through my like in post graduation and start like picking up a career. And for the longest time, my dad was like, "When will you find a real job? When will you get a real job?" Then he saw me on a newspaper, magazine, वगैरह. Okay, fine. But he never approved of it, like for the longest time. He never approved of it. My mom was a sort of my accomplice. She obviously was into music a lot more. My dad was also into music, but music scene, but he wasn't like so much. He was like, yeah, this is your hobby. You have time in the evening or in the morning, and then you go to work, and then you go to school, or then you go to. Mom would play all day long. Mom was like non-Telugu speaking, so she would play all the. So I haven't like I don't listen to so much of old Hindi music, but one would be surprised the amount of old Hindi music also I know just because of my parents. And also all the old Carpenters and that kind of old stuff, right? Yeah, I mean it's great how you just pick up things from just around.
I do a lot of sampling, bro. मैं तो like full power सुनता हूँ रोज like something or this it's all old music in the vinyls पीछे जितना भी है. This is all old stuff.
Listening appreciation is the best thing.
Yeah,
One can learn a lot from listening to other people, other bands, other DJs, or I mean, it's great. It's always great to go and true people who are like here to learn and thrive. And I think a lot of young people. I'm not gonna point at some young people to lose the focus. First, you have to spend. This is proper science, and it's
it is.
And it's also it's music.
And on the same topic, there is a question. If you can share what you use for sound designing.
Oh man, tons of effects. Lately I use H9 and analog heat 2. And
but that's audio processing, bro. What do you like? So you basically record a sample from.
I use synthesizer. I mean, depends. Like I also like use the wavetables.
Okay, so tell us what did you how did you design for the Antriksh Sanchar album? That's like one of my favorite. And please send me a vinyl of that because I've not got the vinyl from anyone.
And the vinyls are still in Berlin. And I promise you one. I promise you two.
Please.
Actually. Okay. What I was saying is that it depends totally, right? If Antriksh was a very organic Indian aesthetic, sort of like a accompaniment musician. It's called Pakka Vaidyam in Carnatic music, like a supporting musician to a main act of dance and depiction. So it was a very thin line, like a sit-down concerto style Carnatic electronic, and we weren't even like opening the filters so much, even when. You know what I mean, right? Like literally not even
keeping it subtle.
Very subtle. But when it comes to games and other things, you need sonic, visceral stuff. Like I am involved in some of the other games apart from Antriksh, where there is hack and slash and visceral stuff. Some really cool things happening. And you need to really design stuff. And you design stuff by fixing. If I have to do an evil horn, I won't just do a horn straight out of Contact or one of the Hollywood or whatever. I would mix it up with something else. Every sound has low, mid,
so you're doing layers basically.
Yeah, I love layers and reverses and tons of processing. Thanks to Infector Mushroom for their plugin manipulator and
manipulator is dope.
Yeah, it's like one of the I stopped using Tornado after I got that. They were very kind in giving me that when we gigged once a few years back, and that's another plugin that I use a lot. And a lot of sound toys. I recently bought sound toys. Everybody classically owned it. I never had the money. And finally, I made it. Now I had the money and I bought sound toys. I use sound toys a lot, and I use the organelle also for effects. It has a really cool algo for effects. You can put some really cool.
You have the analog heat 1 or the 2?
I have the 2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, I just recently got this.
So you use it for distortion? Or just making it fat, basically.
Almost most of the things. Anything just bomb, transient. Depends. There are different algorithms. I've just started using it sometime, but there are different applications, and I think it is definitely a very expensive unit for what it does. But
it does.
And I enjoy anyways. The electron sound is my sound for the last 8 years. I've always had electron machines, and I know them. After I think first Yes, I actually really found my way around because they are slightly menu diving. The newer machines are nice. I have a new Octatrack.
Yeah.
I have tracks actually. I use that a lot as well, just to sort of like keep off desk and make music and not have like
Yeah.
a something look
Mm.
at just
The
plug.
newer
So
one,
you
newer
are
ones
more
are
of a
even more
hardware.
simpler.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Nash,
I think
please.
I spoke in.
Yeah.
Sorry. No, no, you go. So I was saying you're more
Hans,
of a hardware guy. You prefer the hardware over the software.
No, you can often find me spending time on Serum also. Depends on what it is. It's just a very crappy thing. Initially, I was also fooled by this whole hardware and vibe, this, that.
yeah. I
That's
think I've also given up on this. I've got like three, four
profit
sins.
you know.
Yeah.
So it's about like you definitely. If you ask me 5 years, 6 years back, I would have said no, analog, very heaty. Yeah, definitely heat. No doubt, but you can produce. I know a lot of people who send music. I get tons of music sent to me by a lot of young people, and just because they think that it's cool to just approach me, and some of them make some cool music just on their desktop, like
Yeah.
PCs, like low res or whatever. But it's just about aesthetics, and once you know how to like find the timbre, tone, and also
Yeah.
context, right? Context. You can't be like putting like 808 things in. Organic kind of. I mean, you can, but in a setup where there's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
organic stuff,
Correct.
you are obviously more gonna gravitate towards timpanium or skin drums or something like that, right? So that's, I think, the aesthetic. Initially, I was also like, but I love analog equipment guys, because I'm not such a very genius musician. I self-taught a lot of things to myself, and I'm still learning because I think I'm making progress finally. And I
Bro,
think
we're
that,
always learning. We're all always learning.
yeah,
As
yeah.
learning never stops.
Yeah, that I think so that's why it's great to just like twiddle knobs and program things, work in Boolean, Euclidean, and that sort of mathematical world. And it's great because it's just all very interestingly like somehow also sciences, right? Math, science, it's pretty. So when
I
you,
think it comes from the whole science background of being
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
trying to
True, that's true.
fiddle and. So your
Yeah.
sessions usually have too much layers, or do you like? I think Pulkit also asked the same thing. Do you resample? So for example, if you found one sound and it has come via having like 5 layers, so do you resample it to one layer and then use it, or you just keep all 5 and then see whatever you still fiddle around and all?
I mean, ideally, like it's again contextual. If I want like a very lo-fi-ish kind of sort of vibe, then I'll chop it on Octatrack. But if
Okay,
it's
okay, okay.
nothing to do with that, it's a modern sort of world, then I still stick to Ableton. Ableton does tons of great things, a lot of
Yes.
things that you can't even imagine. I love Ableton. I know a couple of other software, a little bit of Reaper. I used to
Mm.
chop and put samples in like my samplers. It needs and I don't really use any other software. I know Logic also a bit. Just for initially, you need to know. Definitely, it's great to learn like two software, but I'm not such a genius to find any market huge difference. Some things are good in Reaper. I don't get in Ableton. I definitely use it. But otherwise, Ableton is my go-to, and I think it just empowers me to just be able to capture ideas immediately and like switch
That's the
between.
important thing.
Yeah, and just I'm also like this loop-based DJ, and I self-taught myself to play everything. I mean, I play my parts. I play everything that I do, be it drums on the MIDI or bass lines, all the basic things. And especially for the last few years, I've been doing that consciously so that sometimes I was forgetting parts of my own stuff that I made. It was great, but
So
I don't know.
what do you? So when you say you're studying, what are you studying in music?
No,
Like
no, no, no,
what is
no,
this?
no, 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 no. There are a lot of questions which are in queue. There
Okay,
are a
okay.
lot
Let's
of
just start.
questions. Yeah, you can ask all of these questions in a bit. We have to go to the top and asked. Okay, Evie asked about Tiesto being in 2007, but the next question was, has Murthovic and Vachan ever attempted a B2B?
Oh
I
man,
think
I've
they have.
never. He's so good. I'm a big fan of it. I think he's definitely done a great job in like pushing the.
Everybody is a fan of Bachchan, man. Like who's
Oh
not a
man,
fan of Bachchan?
I many people like tell me that are you Vachan's cousin or I feel about somebody else. I would be like, dude, I'm me. But when they say Vachan, I'm cool. If it's Vachan, I'm cool. I'm his cousin. No problem with that.
You should have an act together like Vachan Murthy. It'll be like Karan Arjun of electronic music.
Dude is amazing. His sensibility to music, staying through this craft and how he's like playing bass in a band. I follow him and I'd love to do something of that sort with him. And yeah, it will be really great. He's always pushed the envelope for a very long time. I mean, I'm sure that we
Yeah.
all know for like
Yeah.
electro Fridays or Tuesdays, Taika. I don't know. I don't know. I went to his parties back in the day on a very odd night, and there were people, and I knew this is people's DJ.
Yeah, it was Taika Tuesdays, I think. Yeah.
Community or sort of like this music sort of
Yeah.
following back home. So I immediately knew what it was about, and there was such great energy in his sets. Amazing. And then I saw him play jungle at one of the gigs by a poolside, which was too good, too good, too good. Too good. I would do it.
Next question. How did the relationship with Unmute begin?
Relationship with I think Arjun AV, because I have always followed him for a long time, doing what he was doing, and very hardworking guy, doing always very hardworking and always raises his bar. He puts himself against his own self and always was doing that. And from DJ awards to club residencies, and I knew him like that. We weren't really friends at that point in time, but we just knew of each other. But then we ended up being in a gig, and then we immediately were like, oh, maybe we should do this, and why don't you? And then Unmute had just started, and it was a really cool community for like-minded people, and Twin was also there. Everybody was there together, and it was just a nice music community. I really enjoyed that sort of community doing things together. I mean, that point of time, there was no really. I mean, even clubs weren't really booking techno, and that sort of done it. That was really cool because what was that? Go hard, go home, or some really cool things they came up with, and there was really cool festivals. We worked like sound people, artists, DJs, everything, because it was our DIY festivals, and it was really cool to meet somebody who had a vision for everybody, and he was anyways doing his own thing. And I've also enjoyed being part of a roster where there are so many different artists with different identities, music styles, and getting together and doing their own thing individually, and also bringing together. The festivals were really amazing, especially the reset. Primarily, Unmute happened because of I was about to say Rajat, but Arjun, and yeah, definitely Rajat, Dave, Ayush, and everybody, and even Sunil also was part of Unmute at that point in time. It was a cool crew, man. Always everybody is pushing their own boundaries in their own style of music and doing their own thing. So it was definitely the first time for me to be part of a sort of thing. I only hang out with two of my friends who live near my house, who used to DJ with me, or who used to hang out with me, doing everyday things. So that was my little friends. I had some DJ friends, but I never because there was always. I mean, there are some cool DJ friends of mine, but there's always this. Oh yeah, he does this music. I do this music. And I'm not here to outdo. I'm just here to find my own and I'm here to learn.
Right.
I'm in no place or position to challenge anybody's choice of music. It's a very personal thing. If one likes something. So I have friends in Bollywood music. I have friends in all kinds of music, and I love them. They're great people, and I just follow them, and I totally have no I definitely like certain kind of music, and I do that kind of music, but I'm always open to all kinds of things.
All kind of music. Yes, correct.
Yeah, definitely.
Next question is my question only, bro.
No. Pulkit,
No.
Pulkit has asked, do you also resample sound after getting it from
That I've asked
recording
already.
from synth?
No, there
Or
was another
second
one.
part is, or do you just process only on the groups or the whole sound? Or do
Man,
you use any digital synthesizers? I think that has been asked.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I have a organelle, which is a digital synthesizer. I also have an old EPS by Ensoniq, which is a rad 12-bit keyboard. So, like I said, context. Earlier when I just used to produce, just get together, put a click, send one bass, send one kick. That was different. But if you're making music for a lot of clients, you can't be doing that. So there's always a plan. If I'm
So are you doing a lot of client work? Are you doing a lot of work for clients as well, apart from your music? Are you busy with that stuff as well?
I'm mostly busy with that. I haven't found. I did write some music with my other bandmates and some just random improv.
So these are jingles and stuff like that, basically. That's what you're saying.
So
or,
scores for games, like sort of
Games.
emotive,
Ah, nice,
yeah,
nice, nice. Okay,
sonic,
okay.
emotive. Some of them will be out very soon. I'll
Oh,
also
very nice,
post
sir.
on social
Please tell
media. I
us.
haven't time because I have an NDA with the games to not put out anything. They put out whenever, so I need
Yeah,
time. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I usually prefer, like, if, like I said, if I'm doing an organic sort of setting, I'm usually going to
Hmm.
skip drum. I'm not going to one of any of my drum machines. I'm
Ah,
not anywhere. That's my thing. I use Contact a lot as well, but then it sounds very
yeah,
familiar. So lately, I have a bank of recordings, pre-recordings with
yeah.
my that I have made, and plus I also bartered with some friends of mine.
So
PhD,
you have created
temple
like a
music.
library of yours, which you kind
Yeah,
of
it's like
go with.
but a folder, which is great to, like, organize. For many years I didn't like organize, but now I have. I know if I need a reverse crash, I'm not sitting making a reverse crash. And
Ah,
earlier
okay,
I used
okay.
to think like, I mean, it's
Can
just,
you?
I mean, not just reversing it, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
you, like, definitely there's a lot more than that. So I
Hmm.
have places to go. I have a kick place to go. I have a kick, like I make a Ableton preset already, which has like kick bass, my favorite, like a sine bass from operator, or analog,
Ah,
sorry, a monophonic
okay,
analog basic thing that I always keep, which is my go-to, so that I can just slap in. I always have 808, since nowadays I
okay.
do kind of music as well. I mean,
Hmm.
808 is there. My synths are routed and lined, ready to record, and just like those kind of things are there. And it's also situational. Like I said, depends. Most of the time, it depends on. I don't like to over process as well. While I'm recording, I make sure I pass. I mean, like typical old circuitries, I make a low pass if I want to capture the barman, if high pass if I want to
So
capture
you
that.
don't you record with the filter?
I record with a filter with some bit of increment of sound. Let's say
Okay.
every sound needs a bottom end, mid side, high, and I
Yeah, correct.
always, even if it's a hat with loads of shit, I will roll off till whatever 700, but I won't go till 850 till I don't feel that in the
Yeah.
context. I will do
Hmm.
another,
Wow.
and sometimes
That's very interesting. Yeah.
it leads you to double EQ, but yeah, I mean, more cuts than boosts, I guess.
Boost.
Uh,
Boost, yeah.
Correct.
yeah, and I also use a lot of saturation on everything. That I think it's a very analog, what do you call, electron people thing,
Yeah.
saturation on
So
everything.
is analog heat on your sends, or you just
Yeah,
use it?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
It is always on the sense, but sometimes when I play outside, I use.
That's a different scenario. What I'm talking about, just in Ableton, you
Uh,
have analog on sends basically.
mm.
So whenever you want, you can just term it, crank it up, and put it there. Nice.
Somebody says Contact versus Omnisphere. Oh
I love
man, both are equally
analog.
good. I use
I am
both.
contact guy, bro. I am contact.
I think even both are good in their own
Yeah.
ways. But now I started like create your own multis on Contact, your own
Ah,
multi. Even it is like a four-part strings, cello,
yeah.
bass, contrabass, your favorite sort of set of things, and
Correct.
make multis for different things and leave it, because just browsing things is a pain. Once you find something
Hmm.
interesting, I mean, yeah, it's cool to be able to create it every time. You might even forget sometimes, but if you have commercial work and you're doing like a lot of this, you're always putting a bell, then freaking put a bell instrument in your Ableton with whatever processing, put throw a utility, mix it, whatever you want to do, just keep a set ready for
That's a
hash.
great approach, bro. Like I've not. This is the first time I'm talking to someone who's got like so much
Because I'm
sorted.
like,
Maybe it's because of the work. You have so much work. Maybe that's the reason why you want like
I'm also
everything.
like, I'm stupid, or many times I keep getting lost also, and I think that I'll hang on to um, I'll hang on to a small loop for a long time as well.
Hmm.
That is also possible. So I like to keep things fluid and moving. If
Nice.
you have a bunch of things and you have a few things connected, you can punch in. Initially, also it was a challenge to do things on time, and you never. I mean, as DJs, you count your on time, blah blah, all that is
Yeah, yeah,
fine.
yeah.
When you are really recording yourself and you are doing like two, three things together, then it's definitely a little bit of regime to put in time. So now it's a little more like a set place in Ableton and set
Hmm.
place for the kind of choices. So Omnisphere is great for certain things. Contact is also great for
You
certain
have
things.
both. You have
I
both.
have both. I use both, but I make multis on Contact a lot, and I
Ah.
have like some mults that I made for myself, and I use them if I have to orchestrate organs. I'll go there, or if I have to just do like
Ah.
string, I'll go there. If I have to do timpaniums and percussions and upper, like things like chinas or slimy, airy crashes, I'll go there. So those are the things. Everybody should, I think, build their own. Both are good, the great engines, but until you don't build your own, right?
Own
You
level.
never
That's probably the best thing in this session to take, man. Build your own library, because that's the most important thing. Yeah.
Like people can do it. I mean, I never delved so much initially because I never had the first-hand work experience. But now I'm able to find amazing results which I couldn't find. I
Super.
record something. I have a small kanji. I don't have it here. It's a skin drum. My mridangam player, a good friend of mine, Raghu, he gifted it to me. Thank you, Raghu. And I use that, and the low notes on that is so good. And you layer it with your usual stuff, and just great flavor, I think. And also, we have a snare drum because we have a drummer in the band. I mean, I can definitely do the rolls. I do.
So this band that you're talking about, what is this band that you're talking about? You have
the
a band?
ensemble, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Actually, they are my interns. They work with me at the studio, Hitesh and Gopika, and I do music with them, and they're like my best friends, my interns.
Super.
And yeah, they are everything because I see them every day, and especially we've been quarantined for the last whatever time, and we're working projects. There is the outside area where they work and they also jam, and it's nice when 2-3 people are doing things together, right?
Yeah.
You rub each other. Gopika comes from a classical music background, Carnatic and Hindustani, and Hitesh comes from a dance background. His mom is a dancer, and he's a drummer, percussionist. So they have, spirit, and it's always cross-pollination. So I teach them Ableton and other things, and I do certain things, they do certain things, and it's really cool to just rub off things off each other, learn things from each other, and also make things and sustain and work and make some money and make your life easy. That's what it is right now, actually.
So I'm really sorry. I used my admin privileges and muted Skip's mic. Nobody else is getting too much questions.
You guys don't let me talk when जब मैं बोलता नहीं तो बोलते हो क्यों नहीं बोल रहा, जब मैं बोल रहा हूँ तो बोलते हो क्यों बोल रहा. It's so weird, man.
Mash has a very good question.
मैं भी अभी आजकल तू ही थे अभी Mash तो मैं कभी भी I see him in festivals. And I love the way you are. Your DJ set at what was that place? Satellite. Wow, it's so good. It's quite. I'm also very. I go with a lot of ill luck also many times. My own stupid things because I was trying to do this, connect that, and I mess up so many times in my DJ career. There's something that I've done it. I didn't do. There's so much learning from that. If I hadn't messed up. Today, I just deal with any kind of MIDI, audio, CD, any word very easily because there is a very situation with it. So I'm really on about that. It's important to know what's happening. So
it's 2 years back, right? The satellite they're talking about, 2 years back, right?
3 years.
Yeah. After many years, actually, there was only one guy, and the guy who dropped me, he knew I was in tears, dude. I didn't feel a bit nice because. Every time I go out to DJ, I work to put the music together, and I'm desperately trying to bring something special for my audience. And also, this is my only time to go out and sort of share, right? So I felt very tough. But Match, you were so good. I was like, wow, man, so flawless.
Thank you.
Also, of course, so flawless.
Thank you. That was the first time I met you also. So that was the day we met actually for the first time.
I remember everybody who helped me in these times. Abdul also helped me, and Nosh also from Pune once, and your bandmates as well, Lips, also helped me once. I was like, dude, people are nice, dude. People talk oh, nice people around who try to help you. So somewhere Nikhil called him. Tuin came running from somewhere. I think he had left.
No, I had left. Somebody called me on the phone and said Nikhil is calling you. Turned the car around and came back.
Yeah, dude. Nikhil is a darling. And one of the years I just went out and there was so many that same year starts, and I was like, okay. And I was also I'm very influenced by what's in my playlist. I also listen to a lot of music now lately on these iTunes, Spotify kind of places, but I always have a lot of music every day. खाना बनाना है music, कुछ करना है, सफाई करना है music, bedsheet बदलना है music. Of of course, there's so much to listen to and like sort of inspire. So I mean, I was very much into the dub like sort of parties that were happening at Moonshine here in Hyderabad, and I went there with the some similar sort of like mindset. But I was playing house and techno and a little bit of Ableton, right? So there is some stock of this and that, and I played like a dub sort of thing. And he was so cute. He came to me and was like, "Bro, are you going to play in house also, right?" Like, yeah. And I was like, he's never going to book me, but he's always booked me. It's great to just like have friends like that, even Pearl, everybody. It's just great to have friends who understand that you're a certain person and you do a certain amount of thing, and certain amount of thing that you really like. You know, it's great to just find that sort of space with your friend. I still can't go some of your old clubs. Oh man, Spot. You guys know Spot is Steve, and is one of the finest DJs I've ever met all my life, and he's really been my friend for like 30 plus years. I've like taken a lot of inspiration from him because I've seen him like smashing clubs for forever, like I think forever and ever. And yeah, he's a great friend. I did some bits of music with him as well. We live right next to each other. We haven't done any music recently, but yeah, I definitely love doing stuff with him. And it was great inspiration. We started doing music here. I was in his house in Goa, did some music there as well. Yeah, definitely, he's one of my favorite producers as well. I think he's also done a great amount of dance music contribution from Bombay, Hyderabad here. He's always been ahead of time. So that I immediately way back in the 90s only I knew that this guy's so killer dude. Like yeah. So yeah, I am. What is the future you see for the project as Murthovic? What do you see? I'm trying to just answer them. Sorry if I'm digressing and reading out things. Is that I'm also supposed to.
No, that's fine. That's how it is.
Yeah.
That's why it comes up on screen.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, there are some cool collabs that are on their way. I have a lot of AV stuff that is coming with my partner in crime, Avi Tiruda, and yeah, I have these plus a lot of dance music also to like sort of put together. And I put out some for sure, but as soon as I'm like just out of like some preamble things, I have a really cool collab between me, Avi, and another very cool person. I don't know if I can talk about it now, but yes, there are some interesting collabs coming up. Not really dance music world, but outside dance music world because I'm also dissipated working a lot of other things. I found a lot of love for scoring, for picture, scoring for like visuals as such. And it's great to be, and also it just helps you to more think from.
Bro, can you talk about how the game designing works? Like, cause I feel that's a really interesting topic that no one really.
That's what Mash is also
talks
asking about.
Oh.
Okay, game design.
Like, what's the process like? As in, the company approaches you and they say कि चलो हमने एक game बनाया, हमको उस game के लिए sounds चाहिए. So are you creating sounds? Are you creating scores? What's the process like?
It's a very good question. I think there are two aspects to game design, right? One is the emotive score aspect, where you're scoring like
The title track.
Yeah, the contemporary, the classical way of scoring, like your string basses and other things. There is a certain, so to speak, voicing or chord progression that you're following. And there is sound design work, where there is tons of like
footsteps or whatever. What's happening?
Yeah, sonic stuff is happening. There are kicks. I subscribe to both, and both have their place in the game world. You need to be able to portray the protagonist's agony, fear, or melancholy, whatever. You need to portray, and that won't come unless you don't. I mean,
so do you play the game?
Pardon?
So do you play the game, or you get a picture, or what is the scene like? Do you get a video of the game? What's the scene?
I do read a lot of. Belief obviously is the Bible. You should work for the Bible. You should make sure that your client is happy in what you do. And if he's not happy, then you've gone somewhere, like you've really gone wrong somewhere. Give him 5 versions.
5 versions?
5 versions. If it doesn't challenge yourself. And I've faced a lot of failure. I tell you, I've been like thrown out of projects also once, many years ago. But that's how it is. If you're not competent, you can't survive. So you have to
Yeah.
definitely look, find your comfort. Don't try to be like what he or she or somebody is. Yes, definitely get inspiration, but be yourself and find your own comfort. If you are you play the guitar, just voice. Then take your guitar. You know,
Hmm.
just make like basic motifs. You know, you make motifs, record them, and then you build around them. Because if you are able to capture that emotion, it could be any instrument, guitar, violin, piano, synthesizers as well, or anything, where you can just story tell some basic stuff. It could be two notes also. Sometimes your sani is enough, to like talk about a lot in that
Ah.
context. So
Yeah.
at emotive side, you need to have a little bit of grip over just general diatonic or any kind of music theory, little bit Indian or Western, whatever it could be. And I think that
Yeah.
really helps a lot. And on the other side, sound design, it's just about like understanding what you're trying to, your like director, your the game designer or the director of the story is trying to say. If you are able to like align with it, if there is sand dropping there, you definitely are going to use sand and use
Yeah.
a cover horn, right? Very stupid example, but like
Hmm.
so that kind of thing, that's sort of if you find that balance right, your client will never be unhappy. And I found a lot of imbalance initially when I just entered this world of doing some things for 7 8 years. It's almost 7 8 years. I actually did something first game commercial or got paid for it. But at that
And
point,
do you mix down you when you're putting stems? Are these stems mono or stereo?
same usual stuff like right,
Stereo. Okay.
I mean it's no, some things are mono, some things are
Okay. Okay.
mono, like certain thuds, and if you have a voice or a video, they are mono. And sometimes you want to pan things, you want to create a spatial arrangement. I mean I do, I am not a mastering guy, but I master
Hmm.
everything actually. I even use Logi to master sometimes. It's
Ah.
just,
I
I
was
think
about
it's
to ask you that question. Ki,
right
have you used
now.
Logit for mastering?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think Arjun also uses that, and he also told me a bunch of nice plugins from Melda, which were very cool because sometimes you want to do it in the box, and it's
Hmm.
great because this is not like the desired color for certain things. It's really filthy, dirty also, or you can be subtle. So I mean, I use both words, and I think that you should be self-sufficing enough to make. If you don't know, use your time in the toilet or use your time and don't watch the stupid stuff on TV or whatever. I mean, I watch, but like don't see like crap like news or whatever. I mean, find a legit source of news, do that, and I mean, especially for musicians, I'm not like appealing to anybody
Like
else,
take
but
a break and come back, basically.
take a break and just listen to other people, do some research on the go. There's so much stuff on internet. Read about
Hmm.
it. And every project I do research, and that's something that I've inculcated as a science student, and also working with Avi and being in a like sort
Hmm.
of a research project. There's always history. There's always like some bit of like academic research that is involved. So you always make jot. I have a book. I make jot down everything that I'm doing. If I'm
Oh.
making a lot of
Okay.
sound bank for a project, then it's there. I tend to forget as well. But if I put it there, right, just
Yeah.
going through saying that mallets instead of sticks, that gives me a picture that I thought about that first day when I saw it.
How long
So
is this process, bro? Like for a game design, like in general, like what time do you get, or how long is this whole process?
sometimes a week, sometimes a couple of days, sometimes overnight. And if it's friends,
Okay, short basically then.
but it's cool. It's challenging. It's also hyperventilating sometimes because it's you're
Yeah.
pushing creative because sometimes you have odd days, right? And
Yeah.
then I think your electronics sort of help you. Like I bought this really
Yeah.
cool synth by Moog, which is the subharmonicon. If you are not doing
Oh yeah,
anything,
yeah, that's dope. Yeah.
yeah, it's nice to just like have a hook generated, and then you take it from there. But you have to,
Hmm.
and it's pain, you have to tune. I'm just gonna get them into my Eurorack format where there's a quantizer and everything is much more. Now I've just found my way around using it with little time. But yeah, it's great. I definitely love being inspired by other things, and also like
Hmm.
listening to other music. Even if you're making ads for a certain thing, listen to some other contemporaries, listen to some stuff that has been done, and then also stick to your situation because end of the day, it's the guy who's making or the girl who's making who's gonna pay you and who's gonna like obviously approve or disapprove of it. He needs or she needs to be happy about what they are engaging with you, and make sure that you work in that direction, because a lot of
Yeah.
people lose direction, especially our electron, because we are stars, we're coming from the clubs, we don't give up. So, yeah, of course, man, we need to
That's so
treat
true.
people well in the clubs, man. We're not used to listening to a no, and it's never like if we don't want somebody to come and judge. Okay, fine, cool, that's that place. But here there is somebody else's storytelling, right? So that I
There's another
think,
question.
yeah, that I think as a young person I didn't have so much, but now I have. A lot of your recent music reminded me of beautiful fusion of jazz, Japanese jazz, hip hop, traditional Indian music.
A lot of your recent music remind of a beautiful fusion of Japanese jazz hop and traditional Indian music. What inspired you to take a more abstract, open-minded route to exploring your sound more?
I think he's talking about the Antariksh Sansar album only.
Man, I think it's just not me. I mean, there's a lot of credit that goes to Mrs. Ishwar, who's Avinash's mom. She's the progenitor of the project, and she actually started doing this 20 years back. And we sort of like got together, me and Avi, and Red Bull was kind enough to like sort of uh, give us a grant to like put this thing together. And it was a totally different kind of thing. Nobody has ever done this. It took a lot of time. It's also a research-oriented thing. I'm not
Yeah,
a,
yeah.
like,
It took a
getting
lot
to
of time.
how we can putting some like stuff together. I'm not saying it's easy to do that as well, but it's research oriented, and there's like classical music and arts which are like centuries year old, and you're working with them in a newer world and trying to like sort of make use of them and storyteller. Idea is to just be able to like sort of propagate that and also make for an interesting inspiration, because I think a lot of people look a lot outside for inspiration. People don't look immediately. I mean, if I asked a youngster, he would drop even in the music scene in India. A lot of young kids, you tell them he'll say thousand names from here and there. But I would love for a day when this local guy do, because these are the people who have actually built this sort of like scene, right? It's just changing. It's definitely, and a lot of people have obviously contributed to this. So I think, yeah, man. I mean, I'm really happy by the way like it's going right now with the music scene, and it's also very individualistic choice of where you want to go. I always say that young people, if you're like into it and you want to do it, just like go for it. Go for it with a
Who are
hope.
your favorite producers in India right now?
Oh
Just
man,
asking.
so many I've heard.
Like
So,
top, like just give us 3 names.
oh man, top producers. There are so many.
Not top, like your favorite ones. Like I'm not saying like you have to rank them. Just give us 3 names, like people who are you are listening to, or you're like, okay, cool, these are good names that people we should be for us to listen to. That way.
I actually like Kumail a lot. I think
Okay.
he's one of my favorite producers in the country. I think I love his stuff because it's just I don't look for Kumail's music to play in a club, but I just look for. I mean, I just like his music. It's just
Okay.
so uniquely his own style, maybe. Like his first
Nice.
album was something that I don't remember the name, but I think I really fell in love with it. And I was like, where's this guy from? And it was, I think, on lines of, I don't know which label, I don't even know. And yeah, he has great music. I've always loved his music, I think, primarily. And there's like obviously tons of dance music producers who I really love and
Yeah.
follow so many years. But is he's strikingly different from me, and I think I look forward to listening to a lot of his music. As much as like,
Nice.
dance music is there, but I mean, I'm not always
Listening
thinking
to
that.
dance. Yeah.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, definitely. It's-
No, that's the question was that only like apart from dance music, because we know all the dance music names are like we know most of them. These are
I mean,
like
there are
offbeat
so many
people.
cool names in India.
Yeah.
I mean, why do I mean? There's so many people doing so many great, cool things, and everybody's putting out on all these huge labels. There are on Indian labels on like really cool platforms and #1 albums. I mean, there's so many. I mean, Madhav's album was all over the world.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
That was so sick. It was just like mind bending. I still love to go out. I haven't played it in a club, but I just played it in streams and stuff. So
I think
there
there
are
was a stream where John David played like most of his album. Something like that happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I got the album, I think, around that time or after that, but I only heard it. I didn't hear it on John David, but I heard it like,
Yeah. Oh, there's Abby Jacob is asking more question. I mean, Jacob is the guy who told me about your thing in Hyderabad. What's your advice for budding producers?
Uh, I think, yeah, man, I think it's so difficult to like fix yourself on a type of music. Find yourself an instrument, or teach yourself some music theory, or read, or go watch concerts, support music concerts, go out, watch theater, watch any form of art, and see, what actually interests you. I mean, finding exact interest in things sometimes might take months or years. I, for one, took a lot of time because I wasn't sure because initially it was the science or maybe house. Then I was also playing R&B, hip hop, and I was playing reggae music for one strong, solid time where I wasn't just. It was hip hop night, but they were like
Mhm.
maybe a set of 12, 15 hip hop songs. It was reggae, roots, rock, and that kind of thing, And it wasn't everybody's thing, In
Yeah.
my African parties on Thursday night was cool, but the other nights were just bad for the club. And I was clearing floors and people were getting fried. And then I was in a club called Spark then, and my boss was such a lovely guy. He helped me like really understand how to be balance your, personal music, what you like to a place of performance, a place of, I'm not saying compromise, but definitely have to find a balance. And for any producer, I think it's good to just like what you like. Don't listen to your other friends there from internet and Instagram and all that. That's bollocks. Listen to your own self. If you want something, work towards it. Find out a shift. Go to a school, learn. Go somewhere. Find somebody to help you. I mean, I help a lot of people. Who are ready to do or who ask me of something that is of interest, and I can do it. I'm always happy to, and that's why I think a lot of young producers do reach out to me when they put out new music or send me music. I feel good and great because some of them are so talented and so good. I mean, there's so much nice music that is coming out of people. So following your own thing is the best thing. That way you'll stay unique. And end of the day, music is about self-expression. If you're in 20s, you won't understand this now. Some 10 years down the line, you'll see it's about feeling great and also having a whole lot of
Yeah.
people following
No,
it.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's like you need to do things that make you happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
What makes you happy today may not make you happy 5-10 years down the line, but at that point, there is something that makes you happy. So do that.
Yes, of
And
course.
that's
You're a
yeah.
senior guy. Of course, you have pushed the envelope and you've done all different kinds of music that you've liked. I've seen you DJ trance. Seen you DJ techno, house. I mean, I've seen you do so many different kind of things. It's important to
Yeah.
satisfy your own soul and also stay true to what you want to do. And there's
Yeah.
no harm. Even if you want to get into making pop music, great. It's not so easy to write pop progression. It's so it's. I mean, there are formulas or whatever basic chord progressions that you can apply and do things, but it's not so easy to make a pop record. After making music for other people, I realized that it's not so easy to do these things.
Yeah.
It's not easy. Yeah.
It's when people sit in a high place or as DJs or producers and sitting and dissing other people is also of no, it's their own choice. I used to diss.
Right.
I am guilty. I used to diss out people who are pushing pop because back in the day it was like, hey, Bollywood was this other dude thing, that kind of thing. And I never brought that up. You brought that up on me. And
No, but it's funny you say that about pop music because there is a lot of nice pop music. This is what Vachan was saying. There is good music and not so good music in every single genre there is. So even with pop music, there's a lot of stuff that like I found and I'm like, oh, this is a nice riff. I could take this and convert it into something that's more techno. And same thing with country. Like everybody, I listen to a lot of country music, and there's a lot of stuff in country music which I've actually used in tracks that I've made before.
Awesome.
So
You should find Ash.
So you're saying Taylor Swift is your inspiration?
maybe I'm just saying, like, you just listen. You got to listen with your heart. I think that's the key.
That's so true. That's so true. I mean, it
Charlie is saying Charlie agrees.
it always doesn't happen
Charlie
instantly,
saying-
right? It takes some time for everybody. There's an arc and there's a certain way of, unless you don't go into the furnace, you don't really become that malleable and ductile,
Yeah.
really whatever form and shape that you want to take. So just burn, motherfucker, burn, for some time. I was also, as when I started,
quoting hip hop. What motherfucker?
No, you have to. Like, I think that is something. There's a lot of this. I usual talks about this genre is better, that is better. I do this style, I do this. The style is when an individual is presenting his own. If a holds up
Yeah.
the same shade.
No, I mean, there's no point. There's no point talking about your style. Other people should be talking about your style, not you talking about your own style.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, that's my take on it.
yeah, of course, there's so much to be learned and experienced, and there's so much to be like assimilated. That I think best would be to like just absorb what you want. Abby, I'm sorry, I just went all over the world. That's your own thing, dude. Yeah, like
Yeah.
you like them beats, you got the vibe. I mean, he's on the MPC doing his thing, and that's his vibe. And definitely, I love the MPC. Every time I see somebody bring an MPC, I love jamming on it. That I don't have pads like that on Electron or any of my. I even had Machine earlier. They were never. But MPC, you feel the vibe immediately on the pads. And
Yeah.
so, do your own thing. You can make everything out of just one small sampler. Like Youngraj does such an amazing from Hyderabad. You guys, you should check out his YouTube.
Yeah. I've heard his stuff.
Yeah, he's really cool. He does all of his stuff on his sampler. It's so cool. And he beatboxes, sings, does everything.
Nice. Are there any more
Some
questions?
great stuff.
Nishank? Oh yeah, one question.
Oh damn, that's so. I mean, I've just started. Like I said, I am starting to make progress. So that's why I'm at it, and I'll be at it for a very long time. But yeah, definitely, I think I just try to do what I think is fit and what I'm able to do. And you don't need to be like the best overnight, and you don't need to be like like the best guy or somebody who you really like or you want to be at that level. I mean, there's always like a starting, and that whoever at that level is not reached there by like overnight endeavors. It's a journey. Start enjoying the progress. Put a calendar for yourself. Check out boxes. This week I'm gonna study this. Next week I'm gonna do this. What are these things? I mean, how do I process just 808s? How do I bend them? How do I pop them? And how do I make sure that my kicks are also popping? Or even why is my snare drowned in the reverb? How do I make sure that my reverb leaves as soon as my snare leaves? So stuff like anything that could be your production or your music theory or skills on piano or your shapes on the guitar. Just I think would be a good place to start for everything, and to just and find your own style. I think that's what is my effort most of the time. I try to dabble a little bit on the keys because I definitely have taught myself Western music theory thanks to a tutor in Hyderabad, a couple of tutors who I went to for like short duration courses, and also like put myself into the piano for a very long time now. And so yeah, I'm able to just like punch in basic things that I want. But sometimes I need to quantize. Sometimes I don't need to. But many times it's nice that I'm able to like do this, and it's just a thought. It's just a thought. Even if it is not to just play out immediately on the piano, at least I know if I'm a minor voicing or it's a dominant voicing or what is my role now, which was not my thought earlier before. Like really as a dance music producer, I knew shit, but I would never like what God सीखिए सब सीख क्या करना है इसका मतलब what do you like and as often like you get the 5 hours of piano practice. Like, what do you want to also like do other things, read a book, listen to some music, go to a concert or watch something, gotta eat, and just generally live life also. And I haven't taken a holiday for a very long time. I think that's something that is in the offing. And yeah, honestly, trying to just bring something that I like and put together honestly is what and I'm of course inspired by a lot of stuff that is coming out every day, irrespective of styles and genres. And even going to a gig is also inspiring. We all like have that every weekend.
It's very true.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an open mind, then you can be inspired at any point.
Nice.
Awesome.
Brilliant,
Do we have any
man.
more
So
questions?
much information and so much knowledge.
Too much banter. Sorry, I've spoken a lot today. Nash, do or
No, but
I want to
that
leave.
but that's no, but that's the thing. That's why we do these shows, So we like people get to hear you and we get to hear you. It's all about sharing, right? I mean, the biggest part of learning is sharing.
Yeah,
They
definitely.
see us talk every week, anyways.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you, Evie. I'm respect to you too as well. I mean, I'm just trying to like. It's always like learning, right? Like I said, just met you on the airport and you were like, try these. I was like,
Yeah.
hard. That's how it is. A lot of friends teach you things, and good friends will never mock you for your wrongdoing. They will teach you how to do it right. And I've learned
Yeah.
it through real hardships of friendship and other things. They will teach you how to do it. And I always employ that method. I make sure that I empower other people. Um, tomorrow if I'm around or not, if they do better, I think they'll definitely pass. I would have passed down a legacy or sort, for to some more. So currently, I'm just working in this kind of space where I want to do something that I like. I don't want to always like be because as the club DJs, you also want to, club owners is. I've come from that sort of background also, right? Resident
Right.
DJ. They're not doing it this my सैलरी के टाइम पे तंग करेगा हाँ या बोलेगा कि हाँ अभी मैं क्लब पे नहीं हूँ या कल आऊंगा I mean I've seen all of that now. Thankfully last 8 9 years now with Unmute and other I haven't dealt with it. Not that club owners are not cool or whatever. Some are very cool. Some of them are my dear friends, especially in Hyderabad. Also, some of them are dear friends. Also in Pune or in Delhi, some clubs in Chennai. Also, like some Bangalore. Also, some people are really cool who are part of the culture, who know what musicians' life is, who are always like working as a balance, not trying to throw weight around on the DJs or club. Who are trying to balance between the audience and the DJ who's playing it. Because if you're an underground music guy, there is no chance 100 people in the club, all the 100 people who are present in the club will like you. Then have to not like it. Then I think you are doing something. If everybody's liking, I think something is going wrong. So all these managers, people who own the bars, the owners, these people play a lot of role in the building this whole culture, subculture, this kind of vibe. And that's been the same here in Hyderabad also. And I have actively so obviously participated and been part of it a lot in Hyderabad. Now I can say also in other cities I enjoy going to certain cities to play, and there's like some regular audience that come and it makes me feel so great and humbled that oh man, every time I go out these people come. And I mean, to him, you've been gigging for a very long time. So for me, I mean, I have only started traveling a lot. And I mean, earlier I used to do, but I used to do a lot of Bombay or Chennai or Bangalore, but not so much in other cities, right? And yeah, it used to be just friends, or Chris would book me in Zenzi or Pramod, and then who were like my buds, like who always like hosted me for many gigs there way back. And suddenly going out to other cities, having an audience that is coming out to listen to you at the gate, I mean, spending that time and money, I feel super humbled and thankful for that, which was never like part of the plan of things ever. So yeah, whatever we have, we definitely are happy with whatever else. And I think all young
Well,
people starting that's definitely a journey. It used to happen in 20 years, 15 years back then. It happens in 2 good years or even one good EP. Make good music, put yourself out there, and do all that is needed. But just don't indulge in like listening to other people for what you should do. Just do your own thing. I mean, yeah, definitely seek wisdom, but find your own. Find your own. Definitely find your own.
That's awesome advice, man. Seriously
yeah,
awesome
that's a
advice.
great advice actually.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because it's so. I mean, it's. I'm sorry, I'm reiterating again. It's killing it because we are not having international representation at the level we have. All the people who have done it, amazing, but we can have more. It's just because they are just they don't know where to find their true potential. They don't know what actually is their real potential because there's always this barrier things, right? ये सही है, ये सही है, ये cool है, ये
cool नहीं है.
commercial है, ये
Yeah.
हाँ मतलब एंड ऑफ द डे अगर देखा जाए तो सोसाइटी में तो लोग सक्सेस को जब तक आप अपना नाम नहीं बनाते हैं या आप अगर एक सर्टेन लाइक स्ट्रैटा ऑफ सोसाइटी को बिलोंग नहीं करते तब तक आपको लोग really don't really like find call you successful, right? So ऐसे बहुत सी पैरामीटर्स होते हैं. So I mean, yes, musicians live in the real world also. ये कोरोना में पता लग गया ना, dude. Like you have to live. You have to have savings. You don't just buy
Yeah.
keyboard gear. Like I mean, I have also committed that a lot of times, including even now. But yeah, just keep some savings. Find an alternate thing. Do an alternate thing. A lot of Western DJs always, like these English DJs, whoever travel, they always used to say about these things. But I never understood. Now, last few years, I understand that very well. And Corona में समझ में आ गया, having an alternate thing apart from your music helps you to make a choice of what you want to do when you go out on your stage. You know, your stage altar is satisfied. It's not like then you have to do gigs because अरे यार वो दे देगा, चलो opening ही कर लेते हैं, चल वो भी बजा लेते हैं, एक सेट बजा लेते हैं, कुछ तो बजा लेते हैं बहुत दिन बाद. I mean that's not gonna take you anywhere. Do your thing, put yourself. You will approach it, yeah. And now it's internet. It's not like before. So I had to call to him, please bro, are you free this weekend? Are you going to come to here? I don't have this hotel, but I have this hotel. Or I have, we have knocked off and like these kind of, because I was also sometimes programmer, event manager, and everything at the club. So I wanted my club. That was the kind of vibe. So I've played that role also. It took up a lot of my time and energy, and I realized that उसके लिए ना और थोड़ा business minded होना मांगता है, और थोड़ा उसके लिए थोड़ा एकदम मतलब चटक होना मांगता है. वो मैं नहीं हूँ. हाँ, of course, man. Business, you have to be sharp, dude. You do it. And it's not it's a cruel world out there. You gotta train that. And so yeah, man, definitely I think look for an alternate thing also. If you have a job, it's okay. कौन बोलता है कि music करते हुए दूसरा चीज नहीं कर सकते? कर सकते हैं, सब कर सकते हैं. You can balance it, and it's good. It's safe, like to have, and especially for the kind. I mean, now we had Corona, and there was like nobody thought about DJs or musicians or whatever. And we were like, we had a flashy lifestyle. We had like weekend 5 stars, airports, transits, and we were sitting at home. So many of them have taken a hit on not just on pocket, mental health, so many things. People don't recognize it, but somebody who's always on the stage, घर पे बैठा, बर्तन मांज रहे हैं घर पे बैठ के. I started, now क्या करना पड़ेगा? टॉयलेट क्लीन किया है, घर साफ किया है, झाड़ू मारा है, खाना बनाना सीख लिया, सब कुछ. And it's important to like face these kind of things also, right? And I think definitely musicians who definitely think that just this is going to take care initially, have some side gig for sure. Keep that thing going, because music business, you buy a sound card, buy a cable, want a synthesizer, want a drum machine, everything costs so much money, and
a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money. Yeah, a lot of money. So I think saving is good, and also trying to make your own. Now everything is available on the internet. If you're an electronics enthusiast, or you can have books. If somebody's interested, I can hook you up with books, links. You can read yourself, find some basics physics knowledge to sort of convert into making your own thing. That's what I'm doing with my friend Fani and Omar, where we are making a bunch of DIY modular racks for other people. We have 2 clients. A company who's just very new, and also like making our DIY racks, designing racks, and trying to now prototyping at the moment. But yeah, we've got.
This is for general public also.
Yeah, just for anybody and everybody. So I decide if you're a game producer and you want like a game sort of thing, then I can suggest you a bunch of things, and I can put forward like a plan for you. You can buy circuitry from PCBs from various companies, online places that are selling, and we can solder it for you. Or you can just buy them, or we can design a case for you.
Wow, that's a very good thing.
And everybody who's getting into modelers is mostly an experienced musician, or like somebody who's had some sort of approach in it, like VC rack, because it's about voltages and basic knowledge is definitely needed. I mean, even though I had some interest in all that, and I did 5 years back research with my friend Subhash, who was a great musician. Also, I used to do music with him. And he's an amazing musician, and he inspired a lot also doing music. And he is a modular synthesist, and he lives in Goa, and he does his modular.
Yeah. That's a great thing, yeah.
He has an amazing rig and sounds really cool. And there's always a community. And also, whenever I'm looking at doing something, I'm also asking other users, right? I'm often calling Arjun as well, because he's also totally invested in it, and he's spending like copious amounts of time and building his huge system, and he wants to move to. So there is always like this knowledge share, because the real people who are doing stuff will always help you. facilitate something.
They share their experiences and you'll get
Yeah.
to know more from that.
Yeah, because I don't own any of this information. It's all got from other people, and I like that I have to thank millions of people. And it's good to just
Nice.
build that ecosystem in India also, which was earlier. I mean, it's not so much prevalent, but it should be. Like many people
No,
have.
there is this thing called synth farm that happens.
Oh, this
Varun
is
does
great,
it.
and also Dasta.
Varun does it in Calcutta. Yeah.
They do Dasta.
Dasta
Yeah.
is where?
Dasta is I think Zokma and Sanayan.
So that's Bombay.
Died and then do. I don't know if they're still doing it, but I have heard about what they do. From
Okay. Synth farm that happens, I think, every year. And
yeah, of course, that's the proper pro level, and anybody who wants to
Yeah.
learn this should go to him, because I think Varun is very passionate about his stuff. And
Varun's super passionate.
yeah, he's very passionate. So it's great to just like rub off knowledge from other people. And that's nice. Some people are building communities and bringing like people together and putting like these communities. And it's great to just like collaborate among ourselves and build a little scene for us. Then always looking for like, oh, he will come, then the party smash. You would also agree with it. Back in the day, there had to be a like, nothing against the good DJ from outside the country, but dude, come on, there are really cool DJs in India, and sometimes you see that.
Still there, man. It's happening everywhere, all over the country.
It's because it's dude, like it's okay. I mean,
But I think this year and next year would be all Indian DJs. I think all like DJs from the country itself would be doing. We'll see a lot of local names, so we should be supporting them. Because I don't think the international travel would be allowed.
I mean, whatever bit we can do, we can definitely I'm always. If anybody who's interested, I'm happy to be reached out on an email or hit me on even social media.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a great thing. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Murthy, for spending so much time with us today, sharing all of your amazing thoughts.
Some great insights we've got here.
Thank you for having me.
I've
Very
got two
different
things. One
sessions.
is
Enjoyed it thoroughly.
one is be organized. Second is get into game design.
Yeah, skip that. That be organized for you is about into 10 times.
Yeah. I'm least organized.
Murthy, thank you so much, bro.
Hey,
That was
thanks.
awesome.
Thanks,
Thank you,
bro.
bro.
Thank you so much. Thank you, brother.
Today's conversation has completely changed my perception about you. I thought you were such a shy guy, man. But good to know you, man.
I'm dropping by in
Oh.
Delhi.
You'd stop by. I'll have one roll for you.
See you soon, bro.
Yes, thank you so much.
Take it easy, bro.
Ciao, ciao.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Yes, bye.